Let's welcome our next guest who has been such a supporter of Broad Radio right from the beginning. We've had you on the show many times. In fact, you've co-hosted with me. It's the beautiful Myf Warhurst. Hello, Myf.
Oh, good morning, Joe. Good morning, Marieke, and congratulations on Broad Radio. I'm loving listening to you too. This is excellent.
While we're congratulating people on things starting with the letter B, congratulations on Bang On. What a winner that is. You and Zan together. What a dream team.
Oh, look, it's just been an absolute hoot. You know, this year we've been doing the podcast for about 8 years now, and it's been great because we sort of go under the ABC radar because no one knew what a podcast was when we started. And so we just built it slowly, and with that came an audience. And I know the same thing will happen with Broad. You know, as people learn about it, they share it with their friends. It's like talking about the Miranda July book that you were talking about before.
Have you read it, Myf?
Once you get onto something good, you can't help but just like share it with your friends, and people did. And this year we did live shows, like podcast live shows around the country, and it was wild. So who would have thought, you know, like it's just been a real surprise and a real joy.
Well, it's a pity that you don't have much else on so you can really focus on Bang. What the hell? Are you the hardest working woman in show business? Like,
I don't think so because, look, I was thinking some people say, you know, when I've been doing a few interviews of late, people say that, and I'm like, not really, because think of Spicks and Specks. We did 14 episodes this year, and it's the easiest job in the world, honestly, because we can know the guests that are coming on, but for Alan and I, we can't know anything. We can't go to any meetings because we can't know any answers or what's going on because it's a quiz show. So essentially we just turn up and have a fabulous time and then move on to the next one. And I don't want to tell too many people, but, yeah, it is really the easiest job in the world. It looks like I'm busy, but it's not hard. And so many people are now friends that we've made over the years, so it's like a big catch-up. So it's social as well, but fortunately I get paid as well as that, so it's good.
Well, I'm not going to suggest you're lucky, though, because that's all because of decades of incredible and brilliant work that you've done, Myf, and also your back catalogue and your knowledge of music, which makes you perfect for Spicks and Specks. You know, we're loving our music here at Broad Radio, beautifully curated by our music director, Tracy Hutchison. So
an absolute legend and knows her stuff. So I'm really pleased to hear this news too.
Yes, she's an icon, and we're very, very lucky to have her. But, you know, that leads me to ask you questions around what are your go-to songs, Myf, when you're perhaps I'm going to throw some scenarios at you. What about, you know, like we just listened to Amel and the Sniffers. For me, that gets me housework every time. Do you have a housework kind of tune?
I've got to say I've been listening to Amel and the Sniffers of late. I spoke to Amy Taylor at it's Big Sound because I'm up in Brisbane at the moment, which is hilarious because I feel like it's, you know, it's a new experience. Why not have a new experience at this age, at 52? My partner lives up here, but I interviewed her at Big Sound, and so I was back listening to the old records of Amel and the Sniffers, and it's the best stuff to just go, yes, the next generation are great, everything's going to be okay, let's do this. Yeah, I've got to agree, that sort of stuff's been getting me up to do the housework. But generally, to be honest, I listen to podcasts now when I do housework. Isn't that terrible?
No, it's not terrible. I love it.
I multitask now. It's like, oh, what do I need to listen to? Because, you know, you've got lots to catch up with each week. So I tend to just pop on a podcast.
What do you go to, Myf?
What are my go-tos? Oh, I listen to this gloriously kind of trashy but also incredibly well-informed podcast from two Americans who are very entrenched in Hollywood called Keep It. And they'll get a guest on each week and then do sort of a popular culture wrap-up. I've always listened to the Slate Culture Gab Fest. I don't know if you know that.
Yep.
They've been going for about 15 years, I think, even longer than Bang On, and they do, again, it's smart, intelligent pop culture discussions of things that are happening that week. So it's kind of my homework, but I love listening to it too.
Back to music, do you have a comfort song?
Oh, God, comfort song. I think, to be honest, every time I feel like anything needs to feel good, like if someone's come around or you want to, you know, you've had a few drinks or whatever, or you're cooking dinner and you want to get in the zone, I always put on David Bowie, Let's Dance. Always. It puts you back in a good spot, And I don't know why. It just feels so good, and it reminds me of, I don't know, being a little kid in the 80s when I first saw that clip and heard the song, and the optimism that it instilled in me, and the positivity, and yeah, that always makes me feel good. That's definitely a comfort, that one.
Well,
but also a good time song too.
Talking about musical men who stir and invoke a certain kind of feeling, I do realise that my second husband, who doesn't realise he's my second husband yet, Marlon Williams, has been on Spicks and Specks. How did you make words out of your mouth whole?
You can't even do it now.
I can't talk to him. I can't. If I was in the same, I can't talk to him. I love him too much that if I saw him, I'd be like,
oh, I know. He's just, and you know the worst thing is, he's the nicest person
no,
you
he's
will
not.
meet, and it makes you just want to hate him because he's incredibly talented. He, writes the most amazing songs. He's stunningly beautiful in a.
Oh, is he? I hadn't noticed that. It was all about the music for me, Myf. That's very shallow of you to objectify Marlon Williams like that.
But I mean, just from an older lady's perspective at 52, when no one's looking at me, I'm just looking at the world in general and going, oh my God, you're just beautiful in all facets, and it's not fair, and I should hate you, but you're beautiful.
Do you do it? He's so divine. I remember seeing him play in Tasmania in Peppermint Bay, and he was playing solo. And everyone was just staring, mesmerised at his beautiful voice. And at one point, he had to take off his jumper because he was quite warm on stage, and it accidentally lifted up a bit and showed a bit of his belly. And the entire room inadvertently went, ugh. Like to a point where everyone started laughing because it was so inadvertent and embarrassing, and he started laughing and he was really embarrassed, and the whole room just went, It was an awful moment for all of us.
But I really love, Myf, how you are calling out, I think, the space you enter when you're an older lady, and no one cares what we think or look at or how we feel, so you can kind of enter that space a little.
Well, it's admiring beauty without the objectification, I think, and that, I think as women, we've been sort of, just purely being women, we've been objectified our whole lives. We think about the male gaze of the camera, and what we were brought up watching. In a way, I guess I feared judging others in a way that I perhaps had been judged myself. Because people are pretty harsh when it comes to women, but I think when things are classically, beautiful, I'm quite happy to say it, because there's all sorts of things that are classically beautiful, and people, and it's not of importance, but it's just nice to enjoy the world and look out and go, it's not all grim and dark and difficult all the time.
Can I ask you something, Myf? And I'm so fine if you don't feel comfortable answering this. Is that what has it been like for you aging in public? You know what I mean? Like, I stepped away from the public eye for a few years and have now gone completely grey, and no one knows who the hell. And people go, "You look like that Marieke Harvey from the book show." And I'm like, yeah, fine. But has there been any element of self-consciousness for you, or elements of shame, or what's that experience been like for you?
Look, to be honest, I think being in the media, I've always been very self-conscious of all of that, and never 100% comfortable. And I have to say, as much as, watching myself change and whatnot, it's always, it's interesting to say the least. I mean, I did a doco on menopause for the ABC. I think it was 2 years ago now. And I realised that I had my own kind of inbuilt shame about getting older and ageism, and I had no understanding of what perimenopause or menopause was, and none of it. My mum had never talked about it. And I just made a decision a couple of years ago. I went, stuff it. I've just got to, we've got to embrace this, because, this is our life. And I've kind of stopped caring a lot about so many things that I think I wasn't made to feel were important, but, society sort of implies are important. And once you strip a lot of that away, the worry about ageing in media, to be honest, I've never been busier than I am now at 52. And I never thought that would be the case, never. And I'm really pleased about that, because it also comes with, I'm just enjoying myself a lot more. I do jobs that, I know I don't do brain surgery, but I do jobs that hopefully, help people or educate them, or, you know, give them respite from their everyday lives and just have some fun doing it. And that's the point for me. So I've sort of stopped worrying about the other stuff, and it's very, very liberating. I have to say, it's incredibly liberating. I wish I could have told my younger self not to care so much, you know, because I never looked like, you know, classic TV folk that we grew up watching on the news and, you know, I wasn't that type, so I never quite fit in. And I wish I'd stopped worrying about that a lot earlier, to be honest.
Oh, I just love the wisdom coming from you right now, Myf. We love every part of you. You are the classically beautiful Myf Warhurst, and we thank you. We thank you for sharing.
No, I'm a handsome woman. Let's be honest. She's a handsome woman. I've got a strong jawline and you know. But all those things that you think are, you know, not your best. It is your best. It's you, and like let's all just make the most of it.
Oh, thank you so much, Myf. I'm going to hold that to my heart as I go about my day today. And all the best with your crazy busy schedule and the next. I know we got more Spicks and Specks coming, and you know whatever the next TV project.
Secret Science with those two monsters, Matt O'Kine and Sammy J, monsters of the industry.
Yes.
You deserve it all, mate. Love you.
Oh, I love you too, and I wish you all the very best when I come back to Melbourne. I've got to say, I drove through Melbourne the other day and I saw the big billboards, and I was so pleased. What you're doing is great, and I'm just, and listening to you two this morning has given me life. I've got a bit of a cold, and I thought, oh, that's so good, so thank you.
Oh, thanks. We'll get you back anytime, Myf. Anytime.
Yay.
You have a great day.
Live big. Live broad. Broad Radio. Download the Broad Radio app now to listen.